the Ohio State Reformatory, Mansfield, Ohio. This Gothic castle-like structure was built in 1896, with the noble goal of reforming juvenile and young adult offenders. As with many best-laid plans, the ideals of the reformatory gradually gave way to institutional reality, the path to a better life yielding to a warehouse of despair, pain, even death. Plagued for decades with overcrowding, decay, and explosive violence, the doors to OSR were closed for good in 1990 by a federal order citing brutalizing and inhumane conditions, but something remained behind. Along with the peeling paint and rusting iron bars, the troubled spirits of forgotten inmates still linger behind its thick stone walls. Ghosts of angry men physically attack visitors and staff. Eerie whispers echo through the cell's blocks, calling by name those who dare climb reverberating metal stairs to its upper tiers. Apparitions of emaciated prisoners flicker in and out of the dark shadows of solitary confinement, tucked deep in the bowels of the building. And the heartbroken spirit of Helen, wife of a former warden, cries out in her former quarters, her distinctive rose perfume accompanying her presence. Waverly Hills Sanatorium, Louisville, Kentucky. Once the last best hope for those suffering from tuberculosis, aka the White Plague, this enormous bat-wing-shaped building retains the memories and emotions of its former patients and staff. Before the modern age of antibiotics, fresh air and nutrition were the primary treatments for TB. Doctors tried many experimental procedures to help the afflicted, but drastic surgeries often maimed or even killed the patient outright. Another case of best intentions gone awry. The highly contagious disease could also affect the brain, causing many to go mad. The slow agonizing death suffered by many Waverly's residents left a residue of dark energy to fester in the building. Ghostly forms follow visitors through the narrow corridors. Phantom footsteps and eerie voices echo among the walls of the body chute, aka the death tunnel, the discreet final exit for many patients. An entity known as the Creeper climbs the walls and ceilings with its spindly spider-like limbs. Thought to be a harbinger of evil, it moves with unnatural speed, stalking those who roam the creepy, lonely corridors. Originally a place of hope for the afflicted, Waverly Hills is burdened with the weight of thousands of suffering souls. The Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, Weston, West Virginia. Before 19th-century reform revealed mental illness to be a medical condition, asylums were the dumping ground for society's unwanted. Originally a destination of enlightened empathy and treatment, the famed Kirkbride method emphasized institutionalization and an architecture that afforded a pleasant aesthetic, but Tala eventually became just another overcrowded, underfunded warehouse of pain and misery. When the doors finally closed for good in 1994, the confused spirits of many former patients stayed locked inside. Murders, rapists, and other violent offenders still mix with those whose only crime was depression or substance abuse. Tortured ghosts of those who endured horrific ice-pick lobotomies scream for justice inside the asylum walls. The lingering spirit of a lonely child named Lily is one of Tala's innocent victims. Like a sentinel, she sits patiently in her brightly colored room, waiting for someone to play with her. The Lake County History Center, Painesville, Ohio. Museums are an often underappreciated source of paranormal activity. For example, the Lake County History Center has everything one could ask for in a haunted location. It was once the site of the Lake County Poor House, a facility that housed the dispossessed of society, the poor, the infirm, the mentally ill, widows and orphan children. Mix in some prisoners and the criminally insane and you've got a melting pot of misery. The basement had dirt floor cells with iron doors and cages for the unruly. In contrast, A significant portion of the building was a beautiful home for the facility's superintendents and their families, elegantly furnished with posh amenities of the Victorian era. Now it is a living museum, filled with antiques and artifacts of days gone by, displays that tells the history of Ohio and its people. But strange things are afoot at the History Center. Disembodied voices, ghostly moans, and children's cries pierce the silence. Large shadowy figures appear to dart along the hallways. A dark energy roams the basement, appearing at times as a pulsating black mass. The ghost of the matron, a severe and silent woman, still holds vigil on the old dormitory floors, keeping a cold watchful on her flock. Step Cemetery. Only 24 or so crumbling grave markers remain in this famously haunted cemetery, in Indiana. Legend has that it was founded by a cult called the Crabbites, who sacrificed small animals and participated in sex orgies. Another story holds that a mother of an infant who died was so distraught that she went to the cemetery and dug up the child's body after it was buried. Grieving, she took her own life. Visitors claim to have seen her ghost, dressed in black, weeping over her daughter's grave, near the site of an old stump that has since rotted away years ago.